Hi students, I'm Praveen Sebastian Paul. In this set of 4 lectures, we are discussing different type of testing methods that are most common in software engineering field. That is from lecture number 16 to lecture number 20, we are discussing common available software testing methods in software engineering field. So the first one is alpha testing. It is the most common type of testing used in software industry. The objective of this testing is to identify all possible issues or defects before releasing it into the market or to the user. Alpha testing is carried out at the end of the software development phase, but before the beta testing. Still, minor design changes may be made as a result of such testing. Alpha testing is conducted at the developer's side. In-house vital user environment can be created for this type of testing. Second one is acceptance testing. An acceptance test is performed by the client and verifies whether the end-to-end flow of the system is as per the business requirement or not, and if it is as per the need of the end user. Client accepts the software only when all the features and functionalities works as expected. It is the last phase of the testing, after which the software goes into production. This is also known as User Acceptance Testing, UAT. The third one is Ad-hoc Testing. The name itself suggests that this testing is performed on an ad hoc basis, that is, with no reference to the test case and also without any plan or documentation in place for such type of testing. The objective of this testing is to find the defect and break the application by executing any flaw of the application or any random functionality. Ad hoc testing is an informal way of finding defects and can be performed by anyone in the project. It is difficult to identify defects without a test case, but sometimes it is possible that defects found during the ad hoc testing might not have been identified using existing test cases. Fourth one is accessibility testing. The aim of accessibility testing is to determine whether the software or application is accessible for disabled people or not. Here, disability means deaf, color blindness, mental disableness, old age, and other disabled groups. Various checks are performed such as font size for visual disabilities, color and contrast for color blindness, etc., which aims to ensure the software accessibility for all the end users. Fifth one is beta testing. Beta testing is a formal type of software testing which is carried out by the customer. It is performed in the real environment before releasing the final product to the market for the actual end users. Beta testing is carried out to ensure that there are no major failures in the software or product and it satisfies the business requirement from an end user perspective. Beta testing is successful when the customer accepts the software. Usually, this testing is typically done by the end users or others. It is a final testing done before the releasing of an application for commercial purpose. Usually, the beta version of the software or product released is limited to a certain number of users in a specific area. So, the end user actually uses the software and shares the feedback to the company. Then the company takes necessary actions based on the feedback from these end users and make necessary changes based on these feedbacks before the release of the software worldwide. Sixth one is backend testing. Whenever an input or data is entered on front-end application, it stores in the database, and the testing of such databases is known as database testing or backend testing. There are different databases like SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle, etc. The database testing involves testing of table structures, schema, storing procedures, data structures, and so on. In the backend testing, GUI is not involved. Testers are directly connected to the databases with proper access, and testers can easily verify the data by running a few queries on the database. There can be issues identified like data loss, deadlock, data corruption, etc. during this backend testing, and these issues are critical to fixing before the system goes live into the production environment. The seventh one is browser compatibility testing. It is a subtype of the compatibility testing and it is performed by the testing team. Browser compatibility testing is performed for web application and it ensures that the software can run with a combination of different browsers and operating system. This type of testing also validates whether the web application runs on all versions of the browsers without any misfunctionings. Eighth one is backward compatibility testing. It is a type of testing which validates whether the newly developed software or updated softwares work well with the older version of the environment or not. Backward compatibility testing checks whether the new version of the software works properly with the file format created by an older version of the software. It also works with the data tables, data files, data structures created by the older version of that software. So this backward compatibility testing ensures whether the updates are working correctly on the system. The ninth one is black box testing. The internal system design is not considered in this type of testing. The tests are based on the requirement and functionality of the software. So actually this black box testing verifies whether all the requirements are met as well as all the functionalities are working in a proper manner. The 10th one is boundary value testing. This type of testing checks the behavior of the application at the boundary level. The boundary value testing is performed for checking if defects exist at boundary values. The boundary value testing is used for testing a different range of numbers. There is an upper and lower boundary for each range and testing is performed on these boundary values. For example, if the testing requires a test range of numbers from 1 to 500, then the boundary value testing is performed on the values like 0, 1, 2 and 499, 500, 501 like that. So this is known as boundary value testing. So my dear students, in this lecture we had discussed 10 different type of software testings. So my dear students, kindly go through this assignment question. The question is, define alpha testing, acceptance testing, ad hoc testing, accessibility testing, beta testing, backend testing, browser compatibility testing, backward compatibility testing, black box testing, boundary value testing. So my dear students, in the upcoming lecture, we will discuss another 12 set of different testings that we are performing in the software engineering environment. See you soon. Until then, goodbye. Thank you and all the best.